ASMR YouTube channel. Now, today's video, I've got to be a little bit quick. It's going to be maybe 15-20 minutes long because the F1 is about to start. As is Soccer 8, I think. Could be wrong. I need to keep my tabs on that one. Yeah, how are we? I have just filled up my drink, so I've got a nice Pepsi. But I've also... Where's the... I've got pie and potato with some carrots and peas. I've got chicken pie that I made myself. This is not from like a frozen pie. I've actually gone and made it with some poof pastry. Let's try these carrots first. My carrots are my favourite things ever. Yep, that's a bit of me, that. It's been a while since I've eaten on camera. Or at least it feels it. Got some roast potatoes. Look at them. Bit anemic on one side, but they'll run in the air fryer. We've got Lila, who I'm looking after this weekend. She's just looking out the window. Got some chicken. From the chicken pie. Exquisite. Can't complain. Let's go. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about quite a few things, actually. No, maybe just two things. One, the F1. Two, my health. Big update. I'm going to do this. There we go. I feel like I can actually eat my dinner now. And you guys can see me. There we go. Let's try this puff pastry with a bit of... So I've got onion, carrot... Oh, I was meant to put coriander in it, but I didn't. I don't think coriander... chives. Not coriander, chives. There you go, look. I haven't actually eaten in so long. It's been like 6 hours since I've eaten, so I'm a bit hungry. Quality. Absolute quality here. Nothing but chefing. In a good way. Not stabbing. Yeah, so the F1. The F1 starts in 15 minutes. Let's take a look. No. I hate the Google autofill things. Like, if I want... Oh, for fuck's sake. If I want to look at that, I will type that in. So this is how the qualification went. Perez, out in Q1, P17. Major issues. Sorry, P16. My bad. Bottas was 17th, with Ocon, Hulkenberg and Zhou Guanyu. Terrible. Then into Q2, Gasly, Magnussen, Sargent, and then major shock because they fucked up their strategy and went with the wrong tyres. Both Ferraris. Wowza. Sainz and then Leclerc. And then into Q3, sorry. We have Albon in 10th, not too bad. Stroll in 9th. As to be expected for Stroll. He's one of them mid-table drivers, as is Albon. But Albon can range from 14th to like 9th. Then Tsunoda, again putting in quite a good performance, reaching Q3. I think he's really come on leaps and bounds, especially this season. Then potatoes are well up. And then Hamilton in 7th, putting in a relatively quick time. I know that the Mercs look relatively quick this weekend. So expect some performance from them. And then Fernando Alonso in 6th. Probably rightfully where he belongs at the minute. Not pushing the top pack, but just consistently doing better than the rest of the mid-table. So a bit more of that puff pastry. And then completely out of the blue, after Villeneuve questioned his whole performance and ability, and just anything regarding Daniel Ricciardo being at RB, or Visa Cash App Red Bull, whatever they're called now. Goes and puts in a 5th place qualifying after making it to Q3 in the first place. Making it to Q3 was great for the Visa Cash App RBs. Then putting it in 5th is outrageous. Sorry, some of that puff paste just stuck to my throat. And then in come the McLarens as fast as ever, hitting a 112.1 and a 112.021, which on its day from Lando Norris could have quite easily set pole position, but then you had Max Verstappen and George Russell hitting the exact time of 112.000, with the Red Bull setting it second, meaning they start second. They couldn't better the person that was in first, so start second, as per the rules. Now, Norris in 3rd place was only 2/100ths off the time, which is outrageously close. That whole front 3 put in some blistering times, which means we're going to be seeing one heck of a race in the wet in Canada. I'm demolishing this food. It tastes absolutely outrageous. Let's have some puff pastry and chicken, shall we? Oh, this bit is absolutely wrapped around this chicken as it's been cooking. Oh, we love it. I'll tell you what, my cooking's coming on leaps and bounds, so the way I cooked the pie was onions fried, add the mushrooms, add the chicken. Whilst they've been frying, these small little cubes of carrot have been boiling. Not too much, just enough. But yeah, once the carrots have been added, I used a bit of gravy, which you can use chicken stock. I use chicken gravy for it. Added that in, mixed it all in with a bit of cream to make this nice creamy sauce. And when you fry off the onions right at the start, feel free to add garlic. I didn't have any, unfortunately, so I couldn't, but I would have done if I did have some. Just go on and tell me. Think nothing wrong. Well, yeah. So we're going to have a good race. Now, a little bit of an important health update for you guys. Obviously, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, or at least the past couple of years, you'll know that I've been struggling with my hips. It has been affecting me at work, as well as here. because I've been getting home from work aching and exhausted and just not in a good mood. Hence why I've probably missed more weekly uploads this year than I have in my entirety on YouTube. At least on the days where I'm expecting myself to do it. Do you know what I mean? Now, 2 years ago, I went to the chiropractors, of which I saw yesterday as well, and said to him, look, I'm feeling these issues in my legs and my hips. Can you sort them? He said, of course, we'll have a look at that for you. And immediately, after maybe 2 or 3 little tests he did before he tried to crack me, he was worried. This is the last bit of pie, by the way. That was amazing. But yeah, he was a little bit worried and said to me, look, I'm not going to do too much. I can try and loosen your hip up a little bit and work with it, but I can't promise. I can't promise that anything's going to fix it. And I said, okay. So he tried to work it and nothing really made a difference. So he recommended I went for an x-ray. About a year later, pardon me, I'd had 2 x-rays and I'd been to see a physio. All of which they said, no, you need further tests. So I went for an MRI. The results from MRI were inconclusive, so I was to see a specialist. Cut to, if I've probably already told this story many times to when I want to do these sort of updates, but I just like keeping people in the loop that might not have seen it. Cut to October, November or December of last year, so 2023. I saw a specialist in Derby, and he said, you have hip dysplasia. And I said, brilliant. And he said, so we need to fix it because it will only get worse. Brilliant. He said, before we do, we need to go and see a CT, or I need to go and get a CT scan done on my hips. Because it looks like there's a few issues, and before they do anything, they want to make sure that we're 100% working on what we should be 100% working on and not making things worse. I said, brilliant, okay, fine. I went for a CT, waited on my results, and got them about 6 or 7 weeks ago now. Maybe not even that, maybe even like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. No, it's longer than that, probably about 6 weeks. Anyway, the results were, yes, I've got dysplasia in my hip joint, and it's slightly wider. So, ball socket, imagine it like that. It's slightly wider than it needed to be, and it's causing a bit of issues. Not only that, but the actual ball joint, so instead of it being spherical, it's more angular, and it's impinging on a nerve, and it's getting caught somewhere, probably this say. When I'm rotating my hips, it's getting caught and impinging a nerve, and that's where, at least I believe, a lot of the pain is coming from. Because it's all nerve damage, I can feel it in my legs. It hasn't gone to my back, which is a positive, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, not great. So I spoke to him on Thursday, because he was taking my results to a big meeting that he had in order to confer with other consultants. I'm just getting F1 up because I don't want to miss it. He rang me on Thursday with the results of that, of which it came back that, yes, I have both dysplasia in the hip and an impingement on the nerve. Now, when it comes to surgery, it's not as straightforward. The first surgery is to make the ball of the joint more spherical to stop the impingement. Brilliant. The second operation would be to break my hip, the actual joint, and sort of mould it back to the shape it should be. Not brilliant. Both aren't great options, to be fair. But both operations stop me needing a new hip until I'm at an age where I could probably do with one. Not 26 years old, because they won't give me a new hip. Okay, so what are the pros and cons? The pros and cons are, if I have this ball joint made more spherical, gets rid of the impingement. Perfect. However, because I have dysplasia, getting rid of that only makes the gap bigger and even more of an issue in terms of the dysplasia. It may make it worse, it may not make it worse. I don't think it will get better. I'm not a surgeon, I don't really know. But his concern was that it may make it worse in the long run. The alternative is to do the joint operation first, in which case fix the dysplasia, and then we can look at the impingement in the future. Oh wait, Bottas and Zhou Guanyu are both starting on the pit lane. Ocon got a penalty and starts 18th. Gasly's 15th. Sergio Perez is 16th. Yes, so that is how it runs. Sorry. So yeah, they're the two options. The pros and cons are doing one won't fix both. So it's all about determining which is more of a risk, if that makes sense. So between myself and the surgeon, we've agreed to do the impingement operation first because it is less invasive and the dysplasia itself might not be too bad. But if it is worse, we will then do the second operation whenever we need to do that, which is just going to be played by ear, basically. It's going to be a case of do the operation, see how I get on, and then report back, basically. It might be that they do it and I'm happy. Happy days. You've fixed my hip, the dysplasia isn't causing me any issues. We'll monitor it and see if it progressively gets worse, which he believes it will, because that's what dysplasia does. It makes your hip degrade. And with there being an instability, it will only become more unstable. And there might be ways around it, I don't know. It's very wet in Canada by the looks of things. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's where we're at. I'm now booked in for surgery, or I'm on the waiting list to be booked in for surgery. They're expecting it within 3 to 4 months, which is great as far as I'm concerned, so towards the end of the year. I'm also awaiting a letter from my doctor, from my surgeon, detailing to my GP that I might need some medication, because in the meantime I would like some medication because it is pretty painful, I won't lie to you. The way that I'll describe it is as follows. Some days it feels like there's a tennis ball stuck in my hip, which is just, it's pure discomfort than anything. Not a lot of pain, but it is really, really discomforting. It's like I can't walk. I'm walking like half a leg up, so I'm like limping a little bit. The pain side of things is very painful. It's like very, very sharp pain, which is the impingement, I believe. And that's just like getting stabbed in the leg every step or so, or every time I turn one direction. But when I do, your body's immediate sort of reaction is to just buckle, and it is just like and jolt, which isn't helping things, and it isn't helping me in any regard anyway. On top of that, so the way I'll describe it, sometimes it feels like I'm walking through sand, which is me stiffening up a little bit. If you cast your mind back to when you were a kid and you had a tooth that was wobbly. Now, I'm not talking about the one where you can bend it all the way, but do you know when it was just on the cusp of falling out, and you could sort of pull it and you could feel the nerve, and you could feel that sort of discomfort and pain, but you could also feel it moving at the same time. It all feels a little bit like that. So, that's that. That's where we're at. Within 3 to 4 months, hopefully I'll receive surgery. And do you know, usually when you get like news that you're having surgery or something's got to happen for your health, and you're a bit like, oh, I've got to go through all this, I am relieved. Believe me when I say that. It came as a relief, because when we were talking on the phone, a lot of what he was saying was, we're not sure if this will 100% fix it, we're not sure if this will 100% fix it. You know, I've had different opinions from other specialists and things like that. And in my mind, all I was thinking was, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. They're not going to offer it me. It's going to be too risky. It's not going to be beneficial. It's going to spout all this. We can't guarantee this and we can't guarantee that, so we just can't do anything sort of mentality. And then when he said, so we'll just let you choose, or not let me choose, but this is the way that I think we should do it, and I agreed with him. It makes sense to do the easier operation first and see how we go. I don't want to have the worst operation and still be worse off for it, you know what I mean? So I was so relieved when he was like, so yeah, we've got the choices here. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to proceed. And I was just like, and when I tell you, the anxiety just lifted off me, because for weeks, at least for these past 2 or 3 weeks, I've really been hurting. Like, everyone at work's been asking, like, Luke, are you genuinely okay? Like, you look like you're in a lot of pain here. And I'm like, I am. I'm paracetamol, ibuprofen, cocodamol, whatever I can get my hands on. I'm having it, but I'm in pain. Anyway. That being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.